I happened to be a rock climber and was rock climbing. I started rock climbing, by the way, when I was 58. All right? It's the only way old people get high, without getting in trouble. Anyway, an accident, I fell about 40 feet and broke my back. And, broke it well enough. They air-vac me out here, and I got pins and screws and all kinds of stuff back there. And I'm laying up in, is it Sunnyside or Sunnyville or? What is it?
Sunrise.
Sunrise, that's it. In the middle of the night on a gurney where they've got me taped to a board and told me not to cough or pass gas because I may never walk again if I do one of those two things. And one thought went through my head, and everything changed. As a matter of fact, in about 6 weeks, I was rock climbing again with a full body brace on. Kind of crazy, but I did. I don't know if you're seeing a pattern to this, but I also had the opportunity to, at age 70, to blow my tibia off my knee, trying to get out of the way of an old person, all right? And have recovered from that. At the present time, about 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with COPD. And about 5 years ago, I was told, we're going to send you home, take your medicine, make you comfortable, and go home to die. And I just took my O2 levels a couple of days ago, and I'm up to 97% on a. It's kind of normal. Yeah, it's crazy business, but it's the same mechanics over and over again, and I really didn't know what I was doing. As a matter of fact, when you make the clapping thing, I'm going to tell you that's luck. That hasn't got anything to do with intelligence or willpower or none of that stuff. It's just the draw of the cards. Why some of us are wired up a little different. All right? And that's all it is. I wished it were so sometimes, but I've got a lot of other parts of my life that, are crash and burn. But in this one area, on recovery, I seem to have been able to do the magic. Now, I've been a therapist for probably 40 years. In chemical dependency and ran treatment centers and done a lot of things. And I've always been a little judgmental, all right? In that, well, if I can do it, why can't you do it? But of course, I really didn't grasp how much I got blue eyes and I'm lucky at this. It was never a choice in there. But when you start teasing this out, there is a process that those of us that have been able to do that by luck, it happens so lightning fast that it's hard to comprehend how much stuff is going on all at the same time. Now, let's get back to willpower. Would you all put your arms straight out? Is that your good arm or your? Take that one back and put your other arm out.
It must be a bad one.
Yeah. Put your arm and turn it over. Now I want you to, visualize I just set a 10-pound sack of flour on there. Right? Can you feel it? How long? Keep it up. How long do you think you'll be able to hold that there? Is it getting a little heavy already? Yeah? Everybody's got them up? Do you think I'd come back in a half an hour, they'd still all be up? Huh? That's the rest of my talk. I just go out and wait outside. Oh, look, she took hers down already. Okay. Put them down. That's willpower that's doing that. As a matter of fact, you hold them out there, and the ATP, which fires the little muscles in there, gets all used up, or gets down so low that the brain and the body, and it's a survival thing, so we ain't going any farther. All right? Now, the other part of willpower is mental. Not that that isn't, but it is really mental. We've got a piece of brain tissue up there that's about 3 pounds. And it's a pig. I grew up in Iowa. That's an Iowa State bird. Did you know that? It's a pig. Anyway, it's a pig. It eats up energy. And it consumes, when it's just sitting there idling, boom, 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 about 20% of the energy of our body. Okay? But when we start to go up in the, what you call the human part on top, the cerebral cortex up here, the miles per gallon go down. As a matter of fact, you get up there and really start thinking real hard in there or trying to hold it out, and the consumption goes up to as high as 50%. Now we're into a survival issue. And the brain won't stay there because it's interested down there in the lizard part, clear at the bottom, it's interested in survival. So it throws a switch and says, we're out of here. I don't know, some of you have been in school and tried to stay up and study all night long. Finally, you get to a point where you just got to walk away from it. And that's a brain function. That's a survival function. And so when we talk about willpower, we're talking about these two mechanisms. And they won't get you there. Willpower, will allow you to make your grocery list and get the things at the grocery store. It's short-term things. But this big stuff, you can't depend on it. As you listen to people trying to recover from things, you say, well, I'm going to fight this cancer. You just look at your watch. They're going to die. All right? Because they're dependent or think they're dependent on willpower. There's something else that can be in play here. Is this making sense? In the process of trying to shift over into the system that saves our behind, the first thing we have to do, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down through a little list. Different steps, there's not very many of them, in brain function that you can mechanically do. And then at the end, I'll kind of give you a quick and dirty, all right? If you don't want to take all the time to do that, that will kind of get you to the prize a little quicker, okay? So the first thing is being a victim. The quickest way to lose is to be a victim, correct? Mm-hmm. And I'm turning into a victim almost on a moment-by-moment basis in this life. All right? Because anything bad happens to me, I didn't plan it. Right? It just dropped in here from outer space. All right? So, most of the time, we kind of gulp real hard on the victim thing and we get through it and we slide out. But on the big stuff, it's what Mrs. Hawkins was talking about, that we disappear into that victim place. So how do you get out of that? Well, it's pretty simple. It's not logical. Because our logic will just take us right back into the victim place. It's illogical. And the only thing you have to do is to say thank you. I don't know why I'm saying thank you for this pile of crap, but I'm going to say thank you. Now put it to my advantage. Between heartbeats, you're out of the problem and into the solution. Otherwise, you stay in the problem and stay in the problem in that victim thing and just loop around and around and around. And it's so dynamic that on the end of your chromosomes, they have telomeres, and if you're thinking this kind of stuff, it eats away at the end of it and shortens your life and makes you sick. This is real dynamic stuff. It isn't, it's a big deal. So the quicker you can get out of being a victim, the better off you and I are. I don't care what it is. I'm laying down here in the street on Havasu Avenue with my leg, and I'm laying on ground, and I'm honest to God, I'm laying on the ground saying, I don't know, I'm going to say thank you for this pile of crap. It's 70 years old. That's a death sentence. All right? I don't know why I'm going to say thank you for this, but I'm going to say thank you. Now put it to my advantage. I was in charge again. That's where you want to be. You want to be in the driver's seat. Otherwise, you turn into a passive patient. Oh, fix me. And God knows what you're going to get out there when you take your hands off the wheel. Got it? So the first step is to get out of that victim place. All right? The second thing is, I've been doing this with clients for 40 years, looking at them and say, what do you want? And they look back at me and they don't know. If somebody asks you tonight, looked you right in the face across coffee and says, what do you want? Can you tell, or do you know? At this place, in this small little place, when you discover that you have a tragedy on your hands, you have to decide what you want. When I was laying in the hospital with my back, the thought that went through my head, honest to God, was, I'll be climbing better in a year than I was when I fell. That's nuts! But I was no longer a victim. I was in charge. And that's what you want to be. You want to be in charge. All right? I mean, you go out here in the street, pick somebody out. You want to put them in charge of your life? I don't think so. No. I used to say the person sitting next to you, but there were too many husbands and wives. I had to think about getting out of town. Anyway, you have to decide what you want, what you really want. Now, putting it to your advantage, you stepped out of the thing and you start deciding what you want in this little space. I will tell you, between me and thee, it better be helping somebody else. You have to use this. You cannot throw it away or hide it. You have to use it. Whatever your tragedy is, it's useful to someone else. I wouldn't be standing here if I didn't have COPD. I didn't think having a disease could be this much fun. Go figure. All right? No, I wouldn't be standing here. All right? Am I a victim today? I doubt it. Am I in charge? Of course. So, to make those decisions, to not be a victim, simply a little mechanical thing by saying, I'm going to thank you for this. I don't know. You can say, I don't know why I'm saying thank you, for God's sake. That's the truth. Now put it to my advantage. Now what do I want, and how could it help others? That how could it help others is the next part. They say if you have a big enough why, you can lift the world. All right? Now, if I, in here I got 2 cents in here. All right? If I told you after we get rid of the program that I'm going to put this 2 cents around here someplace. All right? Somewhere. And you can stay after the program forever how long it takes, and you can try to find it. And you can have them if you find them. How many's going to stay? You might stay now that you know where they're at. Right? Nobody's staying. But if I set out that envelope with $1,000 in it, all right? Would you stick around after the program? Of course. Right? I think I'll put this away. I found it.
You're going to be a victim.
Yeah. I hope I'm among friends. No, you have to come up with a reason why. And I like to have people, clients of mine, when we went through this kind of drill, is to have them write 10 reasons why. All right? Once you do that, it has a life of its own. It's absolutely spectacular. And it's fun. Is any of this making sense? Mm-hmm. And it's so quick and easy to do. It is not complicated. Now, when Stephen Hawkins, or when I went through these periods, I was walking around the island with smoking, walking. And the little dips over there, around the ball field over there. And I'm going, the thought that went through my head was, I can't get to where I'm going and smoke. I'd never heard that one in my head before. All right? Now, when I got married, my wife was a nurse, and she kept dogging on me to quit smoking. After we got a divorce, I quit. I really do feel bad about that one. She's a nice lady, by the way. She had my welfare always in mind. But anyway, one thought, that was the one thought. Got it? I cannot get to where I'm going and smoke. With the alcohol, I can remember walking in a little circle. We lived on the beach outside St. Petersburg, Florida. And I can remember one night walking around and around in a circle in the kitchen. And a thought came through my head. It's called metacognition, by the way. Big word. It means, what are you doing to yourself? What are you doing to yourself? And whenever we get into, even before you say thank you, you should be asking that question. You should be asking yourself that question all the time. Very few people ever go there. What am I doing to myself? It's like I'm sitting in my brain, the center of the universe, everything's going around and around. I ask that question, and I step out, and I take a look at myself. And I see myself more like you see me. It's a dose of reality. What am I doing to myself? And I asked myself that question at the time. And I went, holy cow. And it was over the minute I saw it. And for you, it's the same thing. So as you kind of flip down through it, you've got a tragedy. You ask that question, what am I doing to myself? You say, thank you. I don't know why I'm saying thank you for this pile of crap, but I'm going to say thank you, right? What do I want? How will it help others? And why? Boom, 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 boom. and all of a sudden you're in the driver's seat. There's an old saying that's been bantered around for eons. And it's like, some people think they think, and some people would rather die than think. That's why you can go out on these old Lunger units and see people smoking through their trach.
Yeah.
Right? In the face of death, in the face of death, they never think. What this does, it takes you up into about the top 2% that you really are thinking. Got it? That is a powerful place. And it will take you anywhere that you want to go. Otherwise, if you step back into the think you think, or rather die than think, you're just in the loop. You're a victim just in the loop. Same thing's happening every day, every day, every day. And we can't afford that when we get mixed up in a life-threatening tragedy. All right, we just can't afford that anymore. I was going to tell you what the down and dirty was, or is. And it's very simple. Is that you take your biggest liability right now. Think about it. Do you have one? You're not going to tell anybody tonight. You're not going to tell anybody anywhere, at any time. But can you identify your biggest liability in your life? So it might be health. It could be all kinds of stuff. Got it? Now you try to figure out how you turn that into your biggest asset. What a challenge. I don't care what the liability is. How do you turn that into your biggest asset? Stephen Hawking couldn't escape his body. I mean, he was locked in there. But because of that, they think he had to invent a new kind of mathematics to do the things he did. He put it to his advantage. Got it? And let him live and go, as the same as for us. So the quick and dirty is, whatever situation you find yourself in is probably not an asset. But to turn that liability into an asset, you got to think a little bit. You get to go up in that 2%, 3% range. And that's powerful stuff. Well, I bought an old power plant that was built in about 1908 on a little river in northeast Iowa called the Volga River. A lot smaller than the one over there, but anyway, I was putting a new roof on it, put a little peak roof on it, and they had taken out the dam about 1920 when they closed the thing down, and they'd blown it up, and up on the roof, it's about 35 feet above the river. Down into some big rocks and stuff about the size of this table. They were all over the place. And then the water, the river there. And I made a mistake. I'm putting in the last sheet of plywood on that corner. This building's about 55 feet long and about 25 feet wide. Peak roof. Shallow peak like this. And I'm walking with this piece of plywood down to the corner over there. Some of you have been in construction. When you carry something like that, you turn your hand this way, not this way. All right? So if something happens this way, you're going to let go of it. But if you got it this way, yeah, so I'm walking across, the wind catches me, and I'm airborne. And I'm headed right to the edge. You can't think this fast. The bottom part of our unconscious runs at about 100,000 miles an hour, truly. And the new part up top will run at about 100 miles an hour. So we haven't got time to think about stuff. We'd be dead most of the time if we depended on it. But for some reason, God knows why, I let go. And I came to the edge with my toes hanging over. Right? And I'm on an angle. And I'm going this and this. You're dead. You're alive. Now, when I fell about 40 feet, you had time to think. All right? But not this much time. All right? Maybe yes, maybe no. And someplace in that mix, luck stepped in. And I fell back into the sunshine. All right? Now, each one of us, in our own way, stand right on that edge, going back and forth with our own tragedies, with our own lives, with our own problems, back and forth. Hopefully, you can use these couple little tools to fall back into the sunshine. That's it. Any questions? Huh? You know, funny you should ask, because I had to go buy a new one. And the last thing I saw that piece of plywood, it was going under a bridge about 100 yards down the river. Right. So, if there are any questions, I'll be glad to field them. Yes, ma'am.
How about people you associate with? Does that affect your thinking?
We're all hooked together. I like to say, change your friends, change your life. I'm a social psychologist, and we're all hooked together. I mean, really hooked together. In that, like in this group, if 15% of us decide to go to Smith's, the whole group will automatically go to Smith's. It's called a tipping point. All right? So yeah, if you have a boring life, you probably have boring friends. Right? No. But I mean, we are hooked.
You're all out there somewhere.
We are hooked together, right? One of the things.
I'm not boring. I don't like boring people.
Right. One of the things, and you have to take advantage of it. There, someone said, and I think it's true, we come into this world alone, and we leave it alone, and most of the time we're alone. All right? But the way you pick your friends is paramount. That we've started here a COPD group for veterans. And it's extremely, I don't know how well they're doing. I mean, they're doing better. But I'm the one who's doing the best. All right? And it's because of that. You know, the best way to learn is to teach and all that business. And it is through that exchange, it seems like I'm capable of doing more. All right? Anything else? Yes, sir.
Does religious faith enter into your thinking?
Pardon?
Did religious faith enter into your thinking?
This is brain function. And that's all it is. All right? It's like, you know, I don't claim luck. I mean, I just call it luck. All right? I mean, how I was able to do it. But you can, mechanically, you can pick it out and you can do that. But I'm just talking brain mechanics now. Sir?
The periods when you come to the point of saying thank you, did something or something happened to you, do you find any result or any pressure after that on the decision that you made?
Well, one of the
Quitting smoking or quitting drinking, I mean, I've experienced something you have,
right.
and I probably was fortunate enough to have similar results with the way I did it, but it didn't seem to be true with a lot of people, and I'm just curious, did you follow up with problems in that, or did you constantly successful all the way through it?
Well, on the drinking part, just as an example, I'm pretty much a, falling down drunk. Not falling down. My youngest daughter, who was just this precious little thing that we don't know how she got in our family, all right? And she's small. She still isn't 5 foot tall. I mean, little. Anyway, she looked at me one day, and she's about 4 years old, and she says, "Daddy, why don't you take me camping?" I said, "Delaney," I says, "I don't go camping." She says, "Yes, you do, Daddy." "No, I don't." She says, "Yeah, you camp out in the car all the time." Oh, God. Dear sweet girl. I mean, within 2 years, I was director of outpatient services for Pinellas County, Clearwater, St. Petersburg, running 4 clinics. All right?
That's the result that you had making the decision to
Yeah,
quit drinking.
yeah. And deciding I was going to help somebody else, too. It's that whole process. I was doing it, but I didn't know what I was doing. I just simply laid it out for you tonight, what the process is. And I've been through it so many times. All right?
Would you call that positive energy over negative energy?
I put it more in the category of saving my behind. I don't know. I really don't. I have no idea. It just happens.
You have a survival mode.
Evidently. All right. But I think it's available to everybody. All right. And it's kind of mind-blowing as a therapist, it's so simple. So logical. I mean, you don't need 9 years, 1,000 years of school, or you don't need you don't need anything. No prescriptions. All right. I have COPD. I'm not on prescriptions anymore. And my doctors here in town, they said they've never seen anything like that before. I'm going, feels pretty good to me. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
How did you also suffered from obesity? It suffers.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
How did you?
Oh, I walked into the bathroom one day, coming out of the shower, and I saw 2 little eyes looking out of my navel. I mean, it was kind of a scary thing. No, I weighed about 250 pounds. There's like 2 of me. All right? And I went through that same process of reality where you look at yourself, wow, what are you doing to yourself? That's that metacognition again. Up until then, it hadn't even dawned on me. I'm just living in myself, doing what I do. I wake up every morning and I turn into me and never do this little step going, what are you doing? It's a powerful place to go. We should be asking ourselves that on a daily basis. It's pretty cool stuff, all right? And it gets back into that being a real thinker rather than I like to say to my students, it kind of separates you from the squirrel in the tree or the pigeon on the wall that you're really thinking. This thing is set up. The bottom is called the basal ganglion. It's like an alligator, all right? It's only interested in 3 things: food, sex, and danger. That's it. And most people, as you look around, go through their life, food, sex, and danger. So you stay down there where the lizards live, really. And the next part up is like Lassie. And it can be trained. And that's where all our habits we do over and over and over again. I will have 90% of the thoughts today I had yesterday. I will go at the same time to the same places probably 50% of the time today and tomorrow. That's that habitual stuff. This carries you out of the habitual and really gets you out into life again. It's pretty cool stuff, right? How we doing?
Early to tell, but hopeful.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the boss over here.
Oh, you're doing great. I'm writing some notes.
All right.
It's funny you're talking about this because I just ran into a neighbor that is just having some, unfortunately, her significant other left her. She's really down in the dumps. So I was writing a lot of notes over here because I saw her about 3 weeks ago and I just ran into her at the grocery store yesterday. She's still there. It was the anniversary of her mom's death, and she just was way down. And I said, well, what are you doing Wednesday? And I go, do you have any holiday plans? No. And she started crying.
Right.
And I said, well, what are you doing Wednesday? I said, I'm giving a party for the bosom buddies. I think you need to come help me. I go, this will help some people that are worse off than we are. She just kind of looked at me. And so I said, do you want to? And so then she said yes, and I walked away. So I called her this morning, and I said, hey, can I pick you up about 2:20? And, so we can go set the party up and pick up the food. So I'm hoping to help her, and I was writing down a lot of these notes because I think she is a victim right now. When you said that, she is a victim right now.
Do any of you remember Johnny Carson?
Oh,
No,
Lord.
yeah.
Is that right, Brown?
We grew up with him. He had a fellow on there one time, and I was in my 30s, and he come out and he was all dressed up nice and everything, and it was kind of a setup deal. And he went over and they sat on the couch, and Carson says, well, what do you do for a living? Let's call him John. And he goes, well, he says, I go around to major companies and corporations and teach them about employee theft. Employee theft. Theft. Stealing. He says, oh, I travel all over the country. And he says, I travel internationally now, too. And Carson said, well, how did you get to do that? Where'd you go to school? He said, oh, I spent 25 years in prison. Most people would consider 25 years in prison a major liability. But he did the trick. He turned it into an asset. Got it? That's getting up in that thinking business again, all right? You move up in that 2 or 3%. Okay? So whatever your tragedy, a career is waiting for you, all right? That'll take you wherever you want to go and do whatever you want to do, all right? I really do appreciate your attentiveness. I hope you've gleaned something out of this time together. I have. Thank you.